If you're watching this, then you're already on the way to immortality. That's because it's now physically impossible for anyone to die. Well, not exactly. You see, there's this famous quote that goes like this: "Death is the mother of all beauty, the source of all art." How is that possible? If death is the source of art, doesn't that mean that without death, there would be no art? What does that say about our existence? It says that death is the mother of all beauty. So it's hard to imagine anything existing without death. We wouldn't be able to appreciate beauty without knowing what it means to lose it. We wouldn't be able to enjoy life without knowing what it means to be mortal. Death is the thing that makes life worth living. But still, since the beginning of time, people have dreamed of immortality. They wanted to find the secret to eternal life, and they've done some pretty crazy things in their quest. Take, for example, Genghis Khan, who started a religion just so he could become immortal. He wasn't really into the whole God thing, but he thought becoming a god might be a good idea if it meant he could live forever. There were a lot of problems with his plan, though. For starters, he didn't know how to come back as a human being. He also didn't know how to come back as a dog, let alone an elephant. But he did have one advantage, the advantage of hindsight. After looking at the plans other people had made over the centuries to try to achieve immortality, he knew most of them didn't work. And so he figured, why not take all those ideas, throw them together and see what happens. His followers took his ideas seriously and spent years trying to bring him back to life. But it didn't work out too well. Most of them died in the attempt. Now, most people don't go quite that far when trying to become immortal. But there are still plenty of people who want to live forever. The trouble is, it's not easy to achieve immortality. There are only two ways to do it. The first way is through science, the second is through spirituality. Now, science seems like the easier option. After all, who needs all that mystical mumbo-jumbo when you have technology? You can become immortal by freezing your body after you die and storing it in a super cool place, until science can figure out how to revive you. Or you can upload your brain patterns onto a computer and become immortal that way. You don't need to worry about saving money for retirement or getting health insurance either. You can just live forever. Of course, science has its limits. Your body is made up of trillions of cells, and all those cells are constantly breaking down and being replaced. Even if you could freeze your body perfectly, eventually your cells would start to decay and you wouldn't be the same person anymore. But what if you could download yourself onto a computer instead? Then you could live forever because computers never die. They just keep going and going. Of course, there's the problem of what to do with your dead body once you've downloaded yourself onto a computer. But who cares? You won't feel anything, so why bother worrying about it? You'll be immortal. What about spirituality? Well, it's not so different from science. In fact, many spiritual traditions teach that you can live forever. It's just that they use different words to describe it. In Hinduism, it's called reincarnation. In Buddhism, it's called rebirth. In Christianity, it's called resurrection. And in Islam, it's called Qiyamah. All these traditions teach that when you die, your soul moves on to a new life. Some are reborn into new bodies. Others move on to an afterlife where they live in peace. And still others believe that their souls will return to earth again and again, until they reach enlightenment. So, which way is right? Science or spirituality? Well, there's no right answer. It all depends on what you believe. If you believe in science, then you think that everything can be explained by natural laws. You believe that the universe is governed by mathematical equations and that everything that exists can be understood through science. If you believe in spirituality, then you think that there's more to life than what meets the eye. You believe that there's a soul inside you that's responsible for your thoughts, feelings, and actions. You believe that this soul is immortal and that when you die, it moves on to a new life. The problem with science is that it can't explain everything. There are some things that science just can't explain, like love, joy, and happiness. Science can tell you how to measure these things, but it can't tell you what they mean. The same is true of death. Science can tell you what happens to the body after you die, but it can't tell you what happens to your soul. The problem with spirituality is that it can be difficult to understand. Sometimes it can be hard to know what to believe and what not to believe. And sometimes it can be hard to practice the teachings of your religion. But that's not the fault of spirituality. It's the fault of the people who follow these paths. In the end, it's up to you to decide what you believe. There's no right answer and there's no wrong answer. It's all about what you think is true. Here's the thing, both science and spirituality are incomplete without each other. Science needs spirituality to give meaning to our lives, and spirituality needs science to give it a foundation in reality. We can't understand the universe without science, and we can't understand ourselves without spirituality. Science has taught us a lot about the universe. It has taught us that the universe is vast and mysterious, and that there is so much we don't know. It's taught us that we're just a small part of something much bigger than ourselves. This can be humbling, but it can also be inspiring. It inspires us to explore the unknown, to push the boundaries of our knowledge, and to try to understand the universe around us. Science has also taught us that we're all connected. Everything in the universe is made of the same stuff, and we're all part of the same web of life. This should remind us that we're not alone. No matter what problems we face, we're all in this together. Spirituality, on the other hand, has taught us about ourselves. It's taught us that we have a soul, a spirit that's immortal, and that it's up to us to find meaning in our lives. It has taught us that we're responsible for our own happiness and that we need to find balance between the different aspects of our lives. Spirituality has also taught us about compassion. It's taught us to be kind to others, to forgive those who have wronged us, and to try to make the world a better place. When we combine science and spirituality, we get a complete picture of existence. We learn that the universe is vast and mysterious, and that we're just a small part of something much bigger than ourselves. We learn that we're all connected, and that we need to take care of each other. And we learn that we have a soul that is immortal, and that it is up to us to find meaning in our lives. So if you want to live forever, then embrace both science and spirituality. Learn about the universe from science and learn about yourself from spirituality. Be kind to others and forgive those who have wronged you. And always remember that you have a soul that is immortal, and that it is up to you to find meaning in your life. If you do all that, then you'll be immortal, because that's what it means to be human. So, what do you think? Is it possible to live forever? And if so, which path do you want to take? The path of science or the path of spirituality? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.